Hey guys, it's me, Albatross, coming in hot and a little bit salty too, because there is just a lot going on. And yeah, you could say, when is there not a lot going on? But I think we can all agree that it's an exceptional time right now. It's an exceptional time right now. And yes, everything is just backwards. Everything is so backwards. But don't worry, there is a bright lining at the end of this big, long, tumultuous rainbow. I don't even know what the expression is, but you know what I'm saying. But like, there is a silver lining at the end. But first, let's get all this this salt out of the way. Because yeah, it's a lot. But like, why do I say it's backwards land? I know it's backwards land simply because I'm out here about to defend a doctor and Candace Owens. And like, those are like two people that I didn't think I would ever have reason to defend. And I don't have anything against either of these people, personally. Just not particularly my cup of tea, But first, let's get into the doctor. Okay? Because they think you're stupid. They think we're stupid. Because they think that if they can get on here and they can, thrash Joe Biden's doctor about him like being behind some kind of conspiracy and cover up, they think they can, if they do that we won't notice the conspiracy that they were behind the whole time. Because, oh my God, just the irony. Think about it. The media blaming the doctor for the media cover up. Like, what world are we living in? No, just think about something for a minute. Okay? I mean, like, Biden's doctor, to be honest, he didn't really have to say anything at all. He's bound by, it's not called attorney-client privilege. It's a law. It's a HIPAA law. Like, he doesn't have to say anything. And I looked it up. I mean, presidents, I know that there's a lot of expectations about presidents and stuff, but there is no law binding them to disclose their medical information, okay? So let's just get that out of the way. They're just trying to, distract from what they themselves did. Because at the end of the day, it's not Biden's doctor's responsibility to tell us anything. It's not his responsibility to tell us anything. They were the journalists. If the rest of the world could see that there was something wrong with the man, what do you think the media saw? They're the ones framing it all and editing it. Like, what do you think they saw? So let's get real, first of all. And Fox News, don't you gloat. Don't you dare sit over there and gloat and act like, you were doing something good or anything like that. Because you serve and bow down to the same masters that they all do. So let's not pretend like you're anything special. You had your own agenda. And probably the agenda was that you could add to your deck of distraction cards. Because it seems like you have this whole deck of cards of distractions that you like to pull out whenever you need to hide from what what really needs to be talked about. Let's be real. And Candace Owens, as far as she's concerned, like I said, I don't really see eye to eye with her on a lot of things, but this is definitely one thing that she hit the nail right on the head about this. They are sitting here playing in our faces, pretending like where do I even begin? Next thing you know, like, they're going to sit there and like try to, distract us with like saying that they're going to charge, it's like they would say they would charge Anthony Fauci finally for all his crimes against humanity, and then turning around and then saying, why are we concerned about that scum? Like, why worry about it now? Why worry about it now? That's what, like, oh, the nerve, just the nerve. I mean, to be honest, I kind of expected this because, like I said before, back when he was on his campaign, they asked him about the JFK files. No hesitation, he said he'd release them. They asked him about Martin Luther King Jr. files. He said no hesitation. He said he'd release them. They asked him about the 9/11 files. He said no hesitation, he'd release them. But then as soon as the journalist asked, at least the interview I saw, when he asked about the Epstein files, Trump hesitated. After all those questions back to back, he said, I don't know, maybe, I guess was the answer. Like, it was a different answer than the answers he gave like 2 seconds prior to the other question. So I guess it shouldn't be that disappointing. I think there was already things he knew about this whole thing that he already knew from the beginning he was never going to release these files. I'm going to be honest. Because it's almost like, it's weird because it's like he tries so hard to be honest, but yet he doesn't come out and say the truth when it would hurt him. You know, it's weird. It's like he either deflects or he gaslights. Or, like, which is what he's been doing the last few weeks, like, really bad. And it's giving me a headache. It's making me sick, actually. It really is, physically. And, you know, like, because let's talk about the real culprit here. Pam Bondi. Let's talk about her for a second. Let's back up a minute. To, what was it, like, maybe a week or so. I don't know, it was, like, right after they get into the office, right after the inauguration, right? They have her on the news and they ask her about the Epstein files, about the JFK files. And she's like, yeah, the files are all on my desk. Like, first of all, like, there's something weird about her answer, and I'm not a body language expert or nothing like that. I'm not going to really dissect it much because I really don't know what was off about that answer. Just, I think we all felt that there was just something off about that answer. Like, what do you mean, like, on your desk? Like, there are so many files from either one of those. Like, take your pick. How could they just be nonchalantly lying on your desk? Or do you mean, are they on your desktop? Is that what you mean? Like, there's just so many weird things about that answer. It's like, what do you mean they're on your desk? And then she said she was going to review them, or she had reviewed them. Something to that effect, right? Right? Okay? So then we get to, like, maybe about a month later. Like, it's the inevitable. Like, she has to, either give up the files or, make up some other excuse. So she makes a whole big thing out of it. Gets the binders together, gets the influencers together, gives the influencers the binders first, which was kind of like a Judas kiss kind of thing, It was like, it was just like, kind of just like a reminder that they'll never, like, respect influencers like they do, like, journalists. Like, they won't. It was just a big slap in the face. The biggest slap in the face, though, was how she acted like she was shocked. Or she waited until after she handed out the bind. She waited till they found out they were already files that had been released previously. To say, well, gosh, gee, golly, what? Are you sure that was all I got? Sitting there feigning shock. So it's like, did you review them or not, Pam Bondi? Did you look through the files or not? Because if you looked through them before you handed them out, you would have seen that you would have already known that there was nothing new in those files. And yet you still handed them out like you were doing a big thing, like you were doing a big favor to the public. I don't know what that was all about. It was really weird and it was fake as shit. I was very disappointed with it. Because then she follows that. Well, that was just phase 1, y'all. That was just phase 1. You see, there's going to be multiple phases. You see, we got to redact all the victims' names. That's what we got to do. It's like we got to redact all the victims' names. There's so many files. And then they made this big show, like, and we weren't given all the files. We weren't given all the files either. So they had to go to whatever office it was, made a big show of that, raided their own FBI office just to get the rest of these files, made a big show of that, right? Made a big show of that. And then that, like, oh, we got so much. There was so much stuff they didn't give us. We're going to go through it. We have a whole team working through it day and night. They're going to be redacting names because, we don't want any victims' name, which I agree. I totally agree with. But it takes people, not computers, apparently, to go through all of those files and files and files to redact all the names of all the victims. It takes teams of people, and it takes months, guys. It takes months. With all the equipment the FBI has, it takes months to do it. So just be patient. They're going to be coming out in phases. You just wait. This is going to be shocking. It's going to be shocking. And then she gets busted. You get busted telling your buddy at a restaurant that there was tons and tons of child porn in these Epstein files. And then when you had to cover your ass for that, then you come out and then you say, tell the public, there is just, you get mad because we're wondering what the hell has taken so long just to do this one simple thing. And then you get all mad, be like, you don't understand what it's like to go through all those files of the child porn and all this, which I'm sure it is hard, honey. I'm sure it is hard. How do you think it felt for the victims? But anyways, so, you do all that to cover your ass on that big, giant misstep. Because you all are sitting there babying the public, acting like we couldn't handle the truth when you're sitting there telling your buddies at a restaurant about it at lunchtime. I mean, the list of weirdness about all this just goes on and on and on. And let's not forget this whole missing minute thing, her excuse for that. Did you guys hear that? Her excuse for the missing minute in the prison or the jail footage when Epstein, died? Did you hear that? What her excuse was? It's like, if that is true, even if that is true, that makes it even more suspicious that it was an inside job. Wouldn't you think? That makes it even more suspicious. More questions. How would what? How would he know? What are you talking about? That was your answer? Now, I've been pretty harsh on them, I'll admit. But, I mean, you can't really do all this and expect, okay, let's just move on for a minute. Okay, because I am willing to accept, because there's many, I don't care what anyone says, there's many scenarios that could be going on right now. There's not just one or two of them. There's a few of them. What could be happening, and I'll give you a little bit of slack here, is let's say that you are actually taking all of this seriously, the victim seriously, and all of that. Let's say you are. And you're investigating whoever you found complicit in all of this disgusting behavior. I mean, it would make sense that you would be secretive about it if that's what was happening. I mean, I think we should all hope that's what's happening. I mean, you're still lying, you're still gaslighting, but if that's what's happening, that could eventually be forgiven, maybe. But you see, here's the thing. This is what makes me doubt that very, very much, was Donald Trump's reaction in that little press conference. His little hissy fit that he had. That kind of showed where his priorities truly were. How he could sit there knowing that there are they admitted there are many survivors out there of Epstein. And you're going to sit there and act like it's not important. You're going to undermine these survivors, especially with everything that's going on with the Diddy trial. You're going to say such an awful statement like that now. Undermine everything that these survivors have gone through? What about Virginia? You don't even want to bother to say her name, do you? What happened? Did Prince Andrew call? And ask nicely? When what's his name? Keir Starmer came to see you? Was that one of his requests? Is that, you let all this blow over? Was that a request? I don't know. I hope not. But, another thing that Candace did a favor for us, she informed us that you are willing to call influencers and ask them, to not talk about certain topics for the sake of your, political agendas. Whether it would help the country or not, it's kind of irrelevant. That's not really the point. That's not really the point. Because, I don't give two shits what that French president's wife, her gender, I don't care. That's the last thing I care about, but that's really not the point, is it? It's not the point. It's the fact that you crossed that line, and you're supposed to be such a fervent believer in free speech, supposed to be supported. What's going on here, Donald Trump? Like, did Prince Andrew ask you not to talk about Virginia? Did Prince Andrew ask you to close the Epstein investigation? If it's closed, hopefully it's not, but if it is closed, did he ask you nicely? Like President Macron did? Because none of them seem above doing that. I mean, we got to think realistically that probably happened. I wonder what the response was. I mean, because your behavior has truly been despicable. You want to talk about like desecrating and disappointing and despicable behavior. It's the way you treated all trafficking survivors in that press conference. You just dismissed it like it didn't matter, when Epstein still has survivors out there still alive. But yet you're sitting here making a big fuss about the Russian hoax. Which, by the way, it could be argued that seems like a you problem. What about the survivors and the victims, the ones who didn't make it, who didn't survive? Because it wasn't just Virginia, Just because we didn't know their names doesn't mean they didn't exist. They died too, very suspiciously. And at the end of the day, I don't even care why you're lying or if you're lying. I really don't care because it seems to me like you're more concerned about like that Russian hoax, which, by the way, you've already won. You've already won. Maybe that's the reason you don't seem to care about the trafficking victims anymore. But you're more concerned about that than the infestation of pedophiles in our country right now. Like, are you kidding me? But let's look at the worst possible scenario. The worst possible scenario is that you're being for real. Is that you were telling the truth in that press conference. That, in my opinion, is worst of all. And if that's the case, if Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, and Pam Bondi have all actually been honest about everything in these last month or so, about everything concerning all of this, if you truly are being honest, then then we need to understand, people, parents, guard your kids, because the government, they're not going to help you. They're not going to help your children. They don't care about your children. They don't care about and not just your children. They don't care about your loved ones. They don't care about your daughters. They don't care about your sons. They don't care about your uncles. They don't care about your aunts. They don't care about your grandparents. They don't care about your parents. They don't care about none of us. None of us. The people working with Epstein and their work, I'm not going to be gaslit. There were some powerful people working with Epstein. Very powerful people working with Epstein after he even got convicted. So, let's not be stupid here. We're not stupid. We're not stupid. They're all still out there running free, never faced any consequences. People running with Diddy, running out there free, never faced any consequences. People running with Weinstein, running around, if they were running around free, never faced any consequences. People running around, you just name them. You just name them. Name any of the RICO sex trafficking cases in the last few years, and you tell me what's been done about the system that's in place, that's keeping this in place? What's been done about that? It's up to us. So parents, keep your kids close. Other kids, watch them. You see a kid wandering around, to make sure, just make sure no one hurts them. Social workers. It's time to toughen up. And remember why you became a social worker to begin with. And I'm not talking about the plant social workers. I'm talking about the real social workers who actually went in the business with a heart. Remember why you chose to do this, and it was to keep children and people safe. And that by worrying more about your job and your income and losing your job, worrying more about that, you're not, then why'd you become, you're not doing your job. You're doing what your bosses might be telling you to do, but you're not doing your job. It's up to all of us now. Because not just Trump, like the Diddy trial, it had some mass implications. They pretty much just let every abusive man out there know that you can rape your girlfriend because she had sex with you last night willingly. You can rape her tonight and get away with it. That is what essentially they were saying. That because she wanted to have sex with you another time or 3 times or 10 other times or 100 other times, that it's okay for you to take it because of those 100 times, even if she don't want to. That is what the message they said. Loud and clear. So keep the people you love safe. Women in abusive relationships, don't give up on them. Don't abandon them. Make sure you're there for them. Because the law's not going to help them. When you say, why'd you call it? They're not going to help you. Call them. By all means. Yes, get it documented. Get it reported. But just remember that we're all on our own. And we got to start taking care of each other. And that's the last thing that they want. That's what all these distractions are really about. These divisions. I don't know about you guys, but I'm so tired. I'm so tired of hearing people talk about the oppression and race and stuff. And yes, it's a real thing. It totally is. But when we're always talking about it, always assuming every situation is like that, it's never going to go away. We're keeping that paradigm alive. We're feeding it. This paradigm where men can just do what they want. Just because a woman might be considered someone who enjoys sex. God forbid you ever admit that from now on. You might as well sign your own certificate to get raped at that point. And yeah, like I said, there's a silver lining to this. There is. The people who want things to be better, but they still have their heads in the sand. Maybe now you all can see those people, the ones with their heads stuck in the sand still. Maybe you guys can finally see who your true enemy is. who your true enemy is, who it's always been. And no, I'm not religious anymore, but I believe in what, Jesus. And there was no one that Jesus couldn't stand more than like the elites, the educated, the authorities, the people who people trusted, typically. Because I think if we're all honest with ourselves, we all already know who's on that Epstein list. We already know. And it's everybody, every single person who is powerful in any position of authority that we trust is probably most likely on that list. Everybody. All of them. That's how we got to start treating it. Including Trump. All of them.